Easter season is always a long and drawn-out season. If you think about it, it starts at Ash Wednesday. We have the big ceremony on Easter Sunday. I looked out, and we had 40 people here. We had the church almost full. Felt good to see that many. We had Holy Week services, lots of them. And now here it is, the second Sunday of Easter. By the way, this is 6 Sundays altogether in Easter's. So as I said, it's a long season when you think about it. I think about all the things that the Easter season means, and I always think about these particular scriptures, and there's some different reasons I think about it. I had a friend once that told me God would have to hit them in the head with a 2x4 before they ever believed they were God. It's funny, that person now never misses a Sunday. Even if they go someplace else, they find a church to go to. Because I think God did hit the 2x4. Sometimes when we least think that something is possible, we're much like all of the disciples. Here we have Peter standing in Jerusalem, telling everybody about somebody coming back from the dead. How many people there do you think really believed him? How about us? How many of us really believe? You know, we went to a memorial service yesterday, and I kept hearing about this great person and all the great things that she had done and how she is in Jesus' arms. And then there's this part of me that says, is that true? There's that little bit of a doubting Thomas even in me. Is that true? How many of us can be in Jesus' arms at one time? That's a thought in my head. You know? I went to see a very good friend. Skipped the network dinner because I wanted to go see my friend. My friend has been a good lady all her life and taking care of her children and grandchildren, foster kids, and first time I met her, she came to the airport, picked me up in her van, and carried me all the way to the convention. We went to a Great Lakes District convention, and it was fun, and it was the first time that I ever really did anything with MCC. And this lady now has very aggressive lung cancer. Talked to her, and she's always been a smoker, but she quit in November, and they didn't find out she had lung cancer until after she quit. I always, think, God help us. But I prayed with her, and I prayed with her, and I prayed with her yesterday. Spent a lot of time with her. And you know what her words were to me? Because everybody went out to have a cigarette, except Judy and I, and they're sitting there, and she says, I knew you'd come and pray for me. And I think, how'd you know? I would have doubted it. Somebody driving 3.5 hours, getting stuck in traffic for how long? Oh my God. If you gotta go to Louisville, guys, avoid 65. Going to Louisville, there's a 3.5 hour backup there, I think. I knew we actually did spend over an hour just sitting and going inches at a time. It was bad. How did she know I would come? Because I played with that in my head, whether I should go or not. And I decided that I should. Sometimes I doubt my own calling. Have I made the right decision? On one hand, I was supposed to go with the network and the district leaders and all those folks and have dinner with them and talk about the plans. Or I'd go see my friend. We have to make choices and decisions. Somebody once said you won't go far in the fellowship, and I thought that's okay. I'm called to be a pastor. A pastor to my friends, a pastor to my church. And they always come first. But there are times I doubt it, and times I get jealous. You know, we're sitting in NCC Louisville, have a beautiful church building. They don't seem to be worrying about paying the bills. Their pastor's hair is not gray. I have no idea how that happened. And they have a church that was full. It was for a memorial service, and I knew there'd be a lot of people there. But do you have doubts that ours will ever be full? Do you have doubts that we'll ever have enough money to pay the bills? You know, come once a month, I see all those financial reports, that doubt enters me. And I think about doubting Thomas. I think how much so many of us are like doubting Thomas. You know? Thomas was crushed after Jesus was crucified. Thomas was called the twin because all I can figure out, he must have had a twin brother somewhere, or a twin sister. But he was a loyal follower of Jesus. He believed what Jesus had to say about loving your neighbor. He believed that God created all of us. He believed all the things that Jesus taught. He also believed nothing bad could ever happen to his teacher. And he saw the crucifixion. He saw the crucifixion. And that stuck in his head. Now he saw then with Jesus when Lazarus was risen again, but he didn't see Lazarus die. He saw the widow's son when Jesus prayed rise again. He believed that because Jesus did it. But where was Jesus to rise Jesus? It's hard for him to believe that. And so all his friends come, and how many of us hear that from our friends, all this good news, all this bad news? And sometimes we have another name for it, we call it gossip. We hear a lot of it, a lot of theories, a lot of different theories. You know, this happened, that happened. And most of us have a tendency to what? Believe it? Not believe it? Well, I'm telling you right now, I'm to the point where you could tell me black is white and I'd say, show me. I want to see. I don't know, it's because I'm developing cataracts a lot, but I'm going to ask that question. Always had questions to ask. But I think the greatest thing of all about this story is Jesus' reaction. When Thomas had his doubts, and as the story in John goes, he'd come and he'd showed the disciples, all except Thomas, and he gave them the gift of breathing the Holy Spirit within him. And then 8 days later, he came back. And he looked at Thomas. And I don't know, I've always pictured Jesus as that one that would have that little shy smile that said, okay, let me show you. And he said, Thomas, come here. Put your hands right here where the nails are. And put your hands right here where they stuck the sword. But Thomas didn't have to do that. He simply fell to his knees and he said, my God, and my Lord. Sometimes even with all our doubts, we have to be like Thomas, and before we even touch, We simply need to say, my God, my Lord. We have to believe. You know, there's nothing I can do about the economy here. I don't know about the rest of you. Wish I could. I wish that the average salary here was at least $20 an hour instead of $11 an hour. I wish that we all had enough money that we didn't have to worry about whether we had to pay our light bill or buy groceries. But I know that's not true. I wish I could pray it into existence. I do pray for all your financial well-beings, as well as our own. But I know stuff happens. Stuff happens, something breaks, has to be fixed. Costs you more money than you have. You get sick. You have to go to the doctor. You have to go to the doctor, somebody gives you a bill for $1,200 and you say, what? It has to be paid. I know all these things. But I also know the joy. The joy of believing. Believing that God will take care of us. I know the joy of believing that if I write my first check, yeah, you're going to get a tithing sermon. If I write my first check to the church, all things else will fall in place. Hate to tell you that, but it's worked for me for, good Lord. I think I started doing it about 20 years ago. And it's worked ever since. It's a belief that we need. There are certain groups of people that come to church each and every Sunday, and they worry. Are the lights going to be paid? Or are we going to be sitting here in the dark? Can we pay the gas bill? And we did that. We did that at our last meeting, folks. We put bills in order. Did you know that? We had to put all our bills in order here at this church. What do you mean, Pastor? Oh, it was quite easy. Please pay the tithes to the fellowship first. And after you pay the tithes, please pay the insurance so they don't shut us down. After that, go ahead and pay the water bill because I think we need our toilets to work. After that, pay the electric bill. We can't exist with just opening the windows and using candles. We'll have to pay that electric bill. And last of all, pay the gas bill because we're not going to need it until next winter. That's not fun, folks. But I believe this church will live and the church will go on. All of us need to firmly believe that we're here for a purpose. And that purpose is more than a place to come on Sunday morning. It's more than women's group. I mean, I love women's group, don't get me wrong. I have a good time when I go and we share and it's fun. But it's more than that. It's more than the friends that I've met here and those I love, those who have helped me out when I've been in a bind. It's so much more than that. You see, we are here for one purpose, the same purpose Thomas was. He had his doubts, but after that, Thomas became the greatest missionary there ever was. He went to Africa. He went to India. He carried Christianity there. He carried a message, love your neighbor as yourself. Love your God with all your heart and soul. All people are equal. I never knew all that. I met a man from India, and he told me he was a Christian, and he told me he named his son Thomas, and then he told me why. Because colonists brought Christianity in India. I thought, what a great story. And isn't that what we're called for? We come and we sit in these pews each and every week. When was the last time we brought somebody to share? You know? When was the last time you asked a friend to come and sit next to you at Sunday and meet them at the front door with a smile on your face and saying, hey, I'm so happy and glad to see you. We have an opportunity next week, a great opportunity. The fellowship is being wonderful to us. They're going to work out a repayment plan for the $2,000 or $3,000 we owe them. They forgave us some of our bills, which was wonderful. But we have an opportunity to learn how to be a better church. How many are going to be here on Saturday? How many are going to bring a friend? I didn't see your hand go up. God help us. We also need Sunday morning to fill the rafters of this church. We have a story to tell. And we forget that. We have the story to tell of how we saved lives because they thought nobody in this world loved them or cared. And they came through these doors. And they found out that's not true. We have a story to tell when people walk through this door and they believed all their life they're an abomination, a shame to God. And we're not. We're God's people. We have a story to tell. A story of love. How long you two been together?
21 years.
Yeah. These two, 22, I know. 17 for us. 34 for those sitting back there, and they say it never lasts. Steve and Jim have been together, what, 25?
27.
27. See, I'm getting old and I forget all these numbers. But love is a great thing to share. It doesn't matter what kind of love it is, love is a great thing to share. We have that story to tell. We have the story to tell that nobody needs to go hungry because, by God, we don't have a lot, but we can bring a box of cereal once a week to give to the block so the kids have something to eat. We have a story to tell when we feed kids at Christmas and give them enough to last them a month or two. We have a story to tell. I got a hate letter again this morning. That's what you gave me, another hate letter. I love those things. I read them, kind of giggle, and I kind of laugh, and I think, God bless you. Come on to church, and let me show you what love your neighbor means. Let me show you it means even loving you. That's what our doubt does for us. Our doubt does things for us when we step out. Step out and look and say, my Lord, my God, my Savior. I know I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Christ. I don't think I'd want to be here today if it wasn't for Christ. It doesn't matter what MCC I'm in. I've been in a few. What matters is that I'm in MCC and I'm doing all I can do for those I love. Why are you here? Why are you here? Are you a doubting Thomas? Are we a Peter that flees? Hey, are we a James or a John? You know, I'm the beloved. Everybody loves me. I want to sit on your right-hand side, and I want to be the power. Why are we here? Are we here to support a church? To support a mission? Are we here for other reasons? could be the doubting Thomas. You know, the one that says, my Lord, my God, who goes into this world and makes a difference. Amen.